as for the proof for the permissibility of Tabarruk, then there's a great amount of it. There is proof from the Qur'aan, from the Hadeeth, and from the ijmaa, the consensus of the Muslim nation. Amongst the proofs in the Qur'an is what came in Surah Yusuf. Allah the Exalted said in Surah Yusuf, verse 94, informing about Yusuf, اذهبوا بقميصي هذا فألقوه على وجه أبي يأت بصيرا, which means, take this shirt of mine and place it upon my father's eyes. He will regain his sight. So, question. Someone might say, would Yusuf commit shirk, polytheism? Of course not. It is impossible for any prophet to commit shirk. It is impossible for any prophet to fall into shirk, polytheism. And would Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam, the honorable prophet and messenger of Allah and father of Prophet Yusuf, would he approve of shirk or accept that something of shirk would be done with him? Of course not. That is impossible. So why did Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam order for his qamis, his shirt, to be put on the face of his father Yaqub, who is also a prophet and he's a messenger? By that, by the blessing that is in it, Allah the Exalted cured Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam. He could not see, and Allah the Exalted made his eyesight come back. Then Allah the Exalted revealed in verse 96 of Surah Yusuf, فَلَمَّا أَنْ جَاءَ الْبَشِيرُ أَلْقَاهُ عَلَى وَجْهِهِ فَارْتَدَّ بَصِيرًا. Then, when the bearer of glad tidings, of good news, came with the shirt, he placed it on his eyes, and he again became one who sees. He regained his eyesight. This is the Qur'an. And the Qur'an does not praise a shirk, polytheism. Of course not. And the Qur'an does not praise the munkar, something that is forbidden. And the Qur'an would not encourage us to do something that is invalid. So here we have the doing of prophets and the praise of the Qur'an for that doing. And this is a fast proof, as it does not require lengthy discussion or explanation or what the scholars transmitted. No, it is a fast and easy proof for the permissibility of Tabarruk. One of our shaykhs, Shaykh Jamil Halim Al-Husayni, Hafidhahullah Ta'ala, may Allah protect him and raise his rank and give him a very long life. Allahumma ameen ya Rabb. He said one time that he was in a gathering in Alexandria in Egypt. He said someone asked him, saying, you know those mushabbiha, those who liken Allah to the creation? They claim that the reason that Yaqub alayhi salam was cured was the sweat that was on the shirt and not because of the barakah. So Shaykh Jamil, he said, those mushabbiha, they don't have an answer. They are not people who have answers. Rather, they speak out of their own whims. Had the reason for cure been the sweat, and anyone's sweat would be cure, then there would not be any hospital or optometry clinic opened. Would people go to the optometrist? No. He said people would have taken each other's sweat and put it on their eyes, and the eyes of the blind, and the blind would have been cured had it been the case of sweat. Isn't that the case? But I have never heard in my life a case where someone took someone's sweat, put it on their eye, and they were cured. Furthermore, had the cure been sweat, then Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam would have sent his own sweat to his father Yaqub. Couldn't he have just sent his sweat? Yeah, they could have collected his sweat and sent it. Why then did he send his qamis, his shirt? So it's obvious that these people, they don't know what they're talking about. This is a clear Qur'anic proof for the permissibility of at-tabarruk. And if this was the case with the qamis of Yusuf alayhi salam, then what about the hair of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam? What about the hair of Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam? If because of the qamis of Yusuf alayhi salam, Yaqub, who is a prophet and a messenger, was cured by the will of Allah, then what about the sweat and the hair and the clothing and the qamis and the turban, al-imama, of the messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam? Also amongst the proofs is what Allah the Exalted said in the Qur'an in Surah Al-Imran verse 96. إن أول بيت وضع للناس للذي ببكة مباركا. Allah mentioned what means, indeed, the first house of worship established for the people was verily the one in Bekkah. Bekkah is another name for Mecca. Was verily the one in Bekkah established as a blessing. Allah said Mubarakan about it. It's blessed. It has blessings. This is about the honorable Kaaba. And the first to build the Kaaba, according to some of the Salaf, were the angels. And some of the scholars said that it was Prophet Adam alayhi salam who first built the Kaaba. But now pay close attention. These stones that were taken to build the Kaaba, they were taken originally from the mountains. Al-Hafiz Al-Azraqi mentioned in his book Tarikh Mecca, the history of Mecca, that Adam alayhi salam took the stones from 7 mountains, and with them he built the Kaaba. Now, before Adam took these stones, and they were still scattered around the mountains, would the people have kissed them? Think about it. While these stones were scattered around the mountains, would the people have kissed them? Would the people have ran to those stones and wiped over them and sought the blessings from them? The answer is no. They wouldn't have. They would not have. Why is it then that when it became a Kaaba, that people started to wipe over it and seek the blessings from it? The answer is because it became Mubarak. It became blessed. Something that has blessings in it. When it became a Kaaba, it acquired a special judgment. What did Allah Ta'ala say in the Qur'an? Mubarakan, a blessed thing, a blessing. About what? He said this about something that is made up of honorable, blessed stones. that acquired a special judgment. They didn't always have that judgment, they acquired the special judgment. And that is the honorable Kaaba. It's made up of stones, subhanallah. And amongst the scholars who explicitly mentioned the permissibility of seeking blessings from the Kaaba is Al-Faqih Badruddin Al-Zarkashi in his book إعلام الساجد بأحكام المساجد. And in this book, he speaks about the judgments regarding the Kaaba and Al-Masjid Al-Haram and the different mosques around the world. And when speaking about the honorable Kaaba, he mentioned that whoever wants to seek the blessings from the Kaaba, then let him not take from the fragrance that was put on it. Why? He said because the one who put that fragrance there, he left it for the Kaaba itself. He gave it out of his goodwill for the Kaaba. And the Muslims, they abide by their conditions. So neither me nor you would come and take it and leave with it. No. Rather, what do? He said, you would come with your own fragrance and you would wipe it over the Kaaba and then you take it. And it becomes blessed like that. But you wouldn't take the fragrance that someone else put on it. Also, one can wipe over the Kaaba with their hands and they will get the blessings on their hands. The blessings will transfer to their hands. They will have blessings on their hands. Or they can do this with their turban, for example. If a man had a turban, for example, he can wipe on the Kaaba with his turban and it will have blessings on it. Or if a person had a scarf, if a woman had a scarf, if a man had a shawl, for example, or if they had a subha, beads, they would wipe it over the Kaaba and it would have blessings on it, or the like. Like that, the blessing would transfer to these items. Subhanallah. Allah the Exalted said, إِنَّ أَوَّلَ بَيْتٍ وُضِعَ لِلنَّاسِ لَلَّذِي بِبَكَّةَ مُبَارَكًا وَهُدًى لِلْعَالَمِينَ. Which means, indeed, the first house of worship established for the people was verily the one in Mecca, established as a blessing and a guidance for all the world. So if this honorable Kaaba, which was named as such because it is muka'abatu shakl, it is cubed in appearance, is something comprised of stones that were taken from the mountains, after which it acquired this special judgment and status, and now it has a great blessing in it and a great merit, and one even seeks cure from Allah by it, then what about Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam? It came in the Hadeeth, Al-Mu'minu أعظم حرمة عند الله من الكعبة. The sanctity of the believer is greater to Allah than the sanctity of the Kaaba. This means, in other words, that every believer is better to Allah than the honorable Kaaba. So what about Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the best of all creations, the one whom everything about him is blessed? Everything about him is blessed. And what about the traces of Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam? If the shawl or the izar is put on the Kaaba, it becomes blessed. Then what about the shawl or the izar or the qamis or the turban of Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam. Without a doubt, the blessing is more. As for his honorable hair, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, then the blessing in it is more than the turban and more than the jubbah and the qamis and even more than the sword. Why? Because the hair of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is a part of him. It is something that grew and came out of his honorable body sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So it is more blessed without a doubt and more beneficial without any hesitation. So this is another proof that the Kaaba is sought for blessings. Mullah Ali al-Qari al-Hanafi, he explicitly mentioned in his book Al-Manasik that doing tabarruk, seeking the blessings from the Kaaba and from what is wiped over it, is permissible. He explicitly mentioned seeking the blessings from the Kaaba and what is wiped over it, like at-tib, the fragrance. And Allah the Exalted knows best.